Up next on the track, the A final in the women's 5,000 meters, presented by Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery. And Kate, there is a lot of talent that has assembled here in Ottawa for this final, and it is highlighted by Gabriela Dubious-Stafford.
Well, how much time do you have to talk about this young woman? Absolutely phenomenal, multiple-time Olympian, 5-time Canadian champion, 4 of those in the 1500, and defending champion in this event last year in the 5,000 meters. She's the Canadian record holder in 7 different events, including this race. She's got a 14:31.38 best to her name. That comes from 2022. That's not just a national record, it is a North American record.
Dubious-Stafford will start on the inside. She'll be wearing hip number 1.
Again, national record holder in events from 1,500 to 3,000 to 5,000, and she is rounding into beautiful form at this point in the year.
She's got range.
Does she ever?
Regan Yee will be wearing hip 2. She is an 8-time Canadian indoor champion across 800, 1,500, and 3,000. Of course, known mostly for her steeple chasing. She was a Tokyo Olympian in that event.
She's looking to get under 15 minutes for the first time. 15:01.84 her best.
Chloe Thomas will be wearing hip 3. She is coming off of PB indoors in December. She's run 15:40 or 15:18.4 in change twice.
9 hundredths of a second between those two performances in June and July.
Gracelyn Larkin, unattached out of Ontario. She won the Canadian 10-kilometer championships in May here in Ottawa. Eleanor Barron, unattached out of Manitoba, will be wearing hip 5. Erin Teschuk will be wearing hip number 6, unattached athlete out of Ontario. She was 9th at the championships a year ago.
Also a steeplechase Olympian from 2016. She's had a launch of a comeback this year.
Anne-Marie Como from Quebec, unattached athlete, 13th a year ago here.
Well, she's an Olympian as well, but it's from 2018 in cross-country skiing, and she's bringing all of that strength to this event.
Mia LaRochelle from the CAUL team will be wearing hip number 8. Stephanie Rial, unattached athlete out of Ontario, will have hip 9. Kiana Gibson from the Vancouver Thunderbirds will be wearing hip 10. Sandra Guga from the Monarch track team will have hip 11. Cara Blair from Physicult will have hip 12. Olivia Roussel, another Monarch athlete, will have hip 13. And Marika Couture from CAUL will wear hip 14. It's the A final of the women's 5,000 meters presented by Flying Monkeys Brewing.
Yet another star-studded field here in Ottawa. And, of course, Gabriela Dubious-Stafford. Well, when you can run 14:31, it is hard to believe that anyone can beat her. Now, we should say Dubious-Stafford has just had this tale of adversity and redemption. She has gone through injury. She's missed out on major championships. She has also turned up in extraordinary form and determination when it counts. And it is just so wonderful to see her out here again leading the charge. She won last year, of course, the defending champion, but 15:33.50. She won by just over a second to Brianna Scott. It was a really close race, and it took a lot out of her. She was working hard to get herself back into a situation that felt good for her personally, athletically, and she has done a great job of that in the intervening 12 months. So Debuse Stafford, I saw her yesterday. She was all smiles, looked really happy, relaxed, confident, and in great form. So she is leading the charge. And then, as you mentioned, Adam, it is Regan Yee, who's just been all over the board. She attempted the quad indoors this year, 800, 1500, 3000, 5000. She succeeded in a couple of those events. Hard to come back and win an 800 after you've got some other racing underneath you. But moving from the steeplechase, making that transition to the 5,000, and then tucked behind her is her teammate, Gracelyn Larkin. You see they're wearing those same Under Armour kits, and they both compete in train in Flagstaff, Arizona, as part of the Under Armour Dark Sky Distance program. Gracelyn Larkin, no stranger to Flagstaff, as she was an All-American for Northern Arizona University, which is situated there in Flag at 7,000 feet or so. And, you know, Adam, it's been interesting because over the last couple of years, we've seen some changes in the 5,000 back and forth with athletes choosing to participate or opting out. And then we have a little bit of a dearth sometimes of top talent. But it's great to see such depth once again here in 2025. And Debuse Stafford just taking on pace-setting duties in the opening 800 meters.
And Debuse Stafford has the World Championship entry standard, thanks to her 14:47.83 clocking in France in June. Regan Yee, right now in the world rankings quota, her quota place is 42, so she is right on the bubble, as there will be 42 entrants in that event in Tokyo.
And as we've mentioned all along, a strong performance at a national championships gets you absolutely pivotal points towards that world championship qualification.
14:50 is the world championship entry standard. Regan Yee looking to become the 7th Canadian woman to break 15 minutes here tonight. I'm sitting next to one of those 6 women. However, I am sitting next to the slowest one under 15, but still a very impressive feat.
Well, thank you for that, Adam. As we continue keeping our eye on the track here, yes, I was pleasantly surprised and very proud to run 14:59.80 back in 2021 to qualify for my one and only Olympic Games and to be part of that esteemed sub-15-minute crew. Now, we should say that Yee, who has now moved herself into the lead, is just sitting outside of that 15-minute barrier. She has run 15:01.84. Technically, that was indoors, though, in Seattle, Washington in February, so she's not counted in the rankings for the outdoors in the overall performance list, but she is absolutely capable, as are many of these women, of getting under 15 minutes, and I would love to see a whole swath of them join this club.
Well, a large crowd on hand here for this 5,000-meter final. Yee leading, Debuse Stafford tucked to her inside in second, then Chloe Thomas in third. But there is a group of about 8 or 9 in that lead pack.
Well, here's the thing about Debuse Stafford. Here's one of the many things about her sitting in second there, is that, as we mentioned, she is the Canadian record holder at this distance. She's also far and away the Canadian lead this year at this distance. She's also the Canadian record holder over 1,500 meters, running 3:56.12. She did that back in 2019. She was the first Canadian under 4 minutes, eclipsing William Kanuka's time from back in the 80s. So the point is, Debuse Stafford has strength, but she's also got unbelievable wheels. Regan Yee, again, a steeplechaser, so much strength behind her. She's got a 1,500-meter best of 4:07, highly respectable, a mile best of 4:24.95 from indoors last year. But the point is, it's really, really hard to match Gabriella over the shorter distances. She's also a 1:58.70 runner. So if this comes down to a kicker's race, I know where my money is.
It's now a lead group of 4. It's made up of Yee, Debut Stafford, Thomas, and La Rochelle. That last lap for that quartet, 73 seconds.
And apologies because I missed their opening 1,000 meters. I was too excited talking about how much I am just in awe of these women. But we are coming up on the 2,000 meter mark, and it's going to be outside of 6:10. Apparently there was 3:08.50 coming through that opening 3,000. So fairly consistent running. If anything, they've picked it up. 6:14 unofficially. So a slight increase in pace there. 3:08 for the opening lap, 3:06 for the second lap. And now keep your eye on hip number 6 there. Aaron Teschuk has regained contact with the pack. Another steeplechase standout from the mid-2010s. She competed in the 2016 games in that 3,000 meter steeplechase. She was 9th here last year. But Teschuk has gone to graduate school and has studied Red S, Relative Energy Deficiency in Sport, a valiant thing to pursue, especially as a female distance runner, and has just really, again, come back into phenomenal form on both the roads and the track.
You were trying to explain to me what that was earlier in these championships when we had a little downtime, and I couldn't comprehend it. So I don't even know what it's like to study it.
Well, it used to be considered something along the lines of the female athlete triad. So looking at what happens to the athlete body when it goes into relative energy deficiency, doesn't have enough calories, works too hard, doesn't get enough rest. So, you know, the fact that she is an expert in this area bodes well for her ability to utilize that knowledge to her advantage. We just saw Gracelyn Larkin come across our screen, teammates again of Regan Yee up front. A bit surprised to see her off the pace a little bit here. For some context, 6:14 through that second kilometer puts them right around 15:37 as a projected final time. And we've got several athletes in this field who have run better than that, our top 6 for sure, including the 5 currently in the mix. And Aaron Teschuk, unfortunately, again, fallen off the back of that pack. But last year's 5th place finisher, Chloe Thomas, definitely putting herself in medal contention. Thomas was a national team figure skater until 2019. Took up running around that time and has just blossomed as a distance runner. She's only 21 years old. And as you said off the top, Adam, she ran 15:18.4 twice this season. She ran 15:18.40 in June, 15:18.49 in July. And that is just outside of her lifetime best, which she set indoors in December at 15:17.47. Got a scholarship and then became a standout athlete at the University of Connecticut. She's just graduated from that program and running for Brooks professionally.
5 laps left to go here in this women's 5,000 meter final. They are through 3,000 meters, and they come through that interval in 9:21.50.
So they've been really consistent. 3:08 opening 1,000, 3:06 second 1,000, and 3:07. Again, these are unofficial times, but very consistent running. Again, that's going to keep them right in sort of the mid 15:30s as a projected finishing time. And it just looks to me that Chloe Thomas is starting to chomp at the bit a bit here. She wants to keep this pace rolling. She keeps moving out just to get a line of sight. Regan Yee acting as the de facto pacer for our national record holder, Debut Stafford. And then we haven't talked about her much, but Mia La Rochelle is doing a fabulous job there running for Laval, sitting in 4th position. La Rochelle set a lifetime best just over 6 weeks ago of 16:12. Did that in Sherbrooke at the Ian Hume Invitational. But this would be a big performance for her if she can stay with these runners, again, who are running about 40 seconds faster than her lifetime best. La Rochelle was a standout soccer player. In fact, she's still on that team for Nicholls State University. And she is very new to running. We've seen so many great soccer players move into track and cross country and have great success. But she is, again, very new to the sport and turning up in a big way.
Trying hard now to stay with this lead pack. Yee leading, Debut Stafford on the inside in second. And Thomas right now matching her hip number, running third. As they now have 3 laps left to go. That last lap, 74 seconds for the lead trio. La Rochelle, 67 seconds for the last lap. Debut Stafford, a 5-time Canadian champion. As mentioned, she is the defending champion in this race. Her other 4 Canadian titles coming in the 1,500 meters. She won 4 straight Canadian titles at that distance between 2016 and 2019.
12:29 they were through that 4,000 meter mark. They have just been absolutely consistent across these 1,000-meter splits. That still puts them right around 15:37. Again, we know that all 3 of these women have fantastic wheels. That was a 3:08 kilometer unofficially, and we are approaching 2 laps to go in this championship. It has been these 3 without any change in leadership or movement, but now for the first time, Thomas making the move around Yee.
2 laps left to go at a 3-horse race right now. Thomas moving to the front. Debut Stafford in second, and now she will move into the front. Is this the move from Debut Stafford? Regan Yee noticing, and she tries to counter as they're going to lap some of the other competitors.
And you can't see this in this shot, Adam, but what's really cool is around the home stretch, the athletes, the spectators, I should say, have been allowed to move all the way into the outside of lane 4. So they are going to create a cheer tunnel for these athletes as they head for home. They have 600 meters to go.
Debut Stafford, Yee, and Thomas. 1, 2, 3, Debut Stafford. Trying to pull away from Yee and Thomas, and there is the cheer gauntlet as they've got under 500 meters left to go, less than 10% to go of this 5,000 meter final.
And as expected, Gabriela Debus Stafford doing what she does best. 14:15 on the clock. Athletes moving out of her way, just knowing what kind of greatness is coming behind them. And she did a great job staying tucked in the slipstream there of Yee throughout the majority of this race. And now she is going to turn on the afterburners. This is the Gabriela Debus Stafford that we know and love. She is absolutely barreling down that backstretch. This is going to be a phenomenal final lap. Keep your eye on the clock.
That last lap was 68 seconds. She's into the final 200 meters now. Debut Stafford looking to go back-to-back in the 5,000 meters. She is back in fine form. Into the final 100 now. She has a look back. She's dropped Yee. She's dropped Thomas. And she is going to pick up her 6th national title. She defends her 5,000-meter crown in 2025. Yee will come across for the silver and Thomas the bronze.
62.5 seconds for that last lap for Gabriella Debues-Stafford, and that is how you get this job done. What a performance by the national record holder. She goes guts out every time she steps on the track, and this was no exception. Defends her national title, runs an absolutely stunning final couple of laps around the track. Regan Yee, really great job of holding on for second. Chloe Thomas had been ahead of her, but she closes in 66 seconds, and I would think it's safe to say that the shift from the steeplechase to the 5,000 has been solidified for Regan Yee. Chloe Thomas upgrades her 5th place finish to 3rd this year, getting on the podium. Erin Teschuk across in 4th at 15:35. Again, fabulous return to top form for the 2016 Olympian. And then Mia La Rochelle, who was in the conversation for so long, is going to round out the top 5. What a race this was.
So with that victory and having the World Championship standard already in her back pocket, Debues-Stafford has guaranteed a spot on the Canadian Olympic team in Tokyo in September. Well, it was a talent-packed field, and it included the Canadian record holder in Gabriella Debues-Stafford. The defending champion comes through again. She makes it back-to-back golds in the 5,000 meters at Nationals. Regan Yee picks up the silver, and Chloe Thomas, 5th a year ago in Montreal, rounds out the podium with the bronze medal.
This is the test. Audio on camera 5. Camera 5, this is the check. Got it? Are we good? Check, check, check. Camera 5. Camera 5, camera 5. Test, test, test. This is the test. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. This is the test. Testing 1, 2 on 5. Audio on 5. Camera 5, audio test. Testing 1, 2. Audio on 5.